Alright, episode 3 of Saga of Tanya the Evil. So far, I am enjoying it. Without a doubt, I'm having an absolute blast, and I'm enjoying the world building, and I'm enjoying the characters, I'm enjoying the thinking. I'm enjoying it. It's that type of... I'm getting into it, you know what I mean? I'm kind of clicking into it. Alright. Episode 3. I hope you're enjoying the reactions. I hope I'm not pissing you off with all my thoughts. I do have a lot of these things that pop into my mind, and if I sort of don't share them, with words, there's no way that I can sort of express what my thoughts are. I can't always just be going, that it isn't that. Am I the only one that sees Attack on Titan? Like, I'm just expecting the Titan to come out of one of these houses and start eating the people. But I know these types of buildings because I remember when I was growing up back in the old country in Yugoslavia before it became, Serbia and Bosnia. This was the type of building that they did. They some of them were brick and some of them sort of had, it wasn't brick, it was like this mixture of, you know what I mean, right? They used different materials and they were old and they used the wooden frames and they filled the stuff in between with like, I'm not going to say mud, but it was this mixture, it was like cementy, but it wasn't cement. But it was, a form of insulation and all that sort of stuff. Best to check stuff after credits. Cool. All right, I'll keep it in mind. All right, let's go. Oh, I like the visuals and music. I like them. All right, let's go. Oh, by the way, you see these cars down here? The Mercedes-Benz. That was sort of created during this sort of time. Yeah, I know that some Serbian guy ended up buying one of Hitler's cars. Of course he bought one of Hitler's cars. Why wouldn't you? I almost said Kittler. Like Kitten Hitler. Kittler. Let's make an anime about World War II, but here's the twist. Everyone's a cat. Let's do it. It'll be hilarious. Alright, so they call them silver wings. I gotta do myself a warning. Did I do him? Silver winged metal. I'm gonna call it silver wings. Cool, that's gonna make my life easier later when I do the titling. This is what they actually did with a lot of their aces during the war. So, and this also happened to Germany, and a lot happened in Russia as well. You would get your best people, like say for example your best sniper, and you wouldn't deploy them because the risk of losing them and the cost of losing them is astronomically high. But you would actually get them in schools to train the upcoming snipers and the upcoming artillery people and stuff like that. So you would actually put them in positions where the amount of quality and the amount of output that they would produce is more than they would themselves, but you would occasionally send them out onto the field as, commanders and things like that. And there was this one instance, I forget his name, I think his name was Vasily in Stalingrad, who was basically he was a Russian Soviet sniper that was taking out officers on the German side. Like, he took out 50, 60 officers, right? And so they sent out the Germans' best sniper to take him out. And Vasily ended up taking him fucking out. That cost the Germans so much it's not even funny, because their best go-to guy to teach the snipers was gone. But of course, Hitler being Hitler absolutely wanted Stalingrad just because it had the name Stalin. Like, literally what happened? Hitler invaded Russia because Operation Barbarossa, because Hitler's an idiot. But anyway, the plan was invade Russia, steamroll through Russia, and get your butts to the oil fields to get to the supply of oil because you need them for your armored division. Makes absolute logical sense, right? You need oil, you invade the country, you take the oil fields, and you use it for your mechanized units, which are the best in the war. Those Panzer tanks were fucking good. Anyways, okay, it makes rational sense. While they were in Russia, you know, Hitler's looking at the plans. He's like, what's this town? Stalingrad. Stop the tanks, change the plan. You know, like, hold your tits. We're splitting up our forces. Half are going for the oil fields and half are going for Stalingrad. But sir, Stalingrad has absolutely no, you know, strategic importance right now, blah, 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 blah. No, I want Stalingrad. I want it, I want it, I want it, I want it, I want it. So the Germans split up their force. Half of them went to the oil fields. Half of them went to Stalingrad. And because Stalingrad was sort of located close to the river that was used as a supply line, and Stalin basically knew if they fucking take Stalingrad, that's an insult to me and all this other shit, and you also don't want that to being lost because then it's getting pushed all the way to Moscow and beyond and all these other things. Stalin knew that he had to hold it. But because Hitler was so obsessed with taking Stalingrad, he ended up never actually taking the oil fields. And because he didn't take the oil fields, guess what happens when you have tanks that run out of oil? Well, petroleum and you know what I mean. They run out of fuel. What happens? They don't work. So Stalin basically ended up fucking himself because he wanted Stalingrad. I mean, yeah, eventually you might take Stalingrad for its strategic value and all this other shit, but the reason why Stalin wanted it now was, not Stalin, but I mean Hitler. The reason why he wanted it now is because it had the name Stalin in it. And he was in this big dick-waving competition with Stalin, and it was just like... Anyways. That war was a catastrophe. Ha! Allahu Akbar! Well, there goes the monetization. This is so re-zero, it's not even funny. Aroused? My neck. Too many meetings. Oh, come on, pour yourself a cup of vodka, you'll be fine. That's what really fucked the Germans in Russia. It was the winter. Didn't Napoleon ever tell you? You don't just... One does not simply invade Russia. Like, winter's gonna fuck you up. But anyway. What? Boom. How did I know? Am I the only one thinks that this guy looks a little bit like, it's not Wamu, AC/DC? Look at his hair. It doesn't have the hat, but you know. Apparently some guy called Murphy. Maybe it was Eddie Murphy, I don't know. Request for transfer. That's sexist. I mean, you put young men on the front lines to die, but you won't put young little girls on the front lines to die. That's sexism. Tell me I'm wrong. You know why they built these things like that? Makes it a bitch to climb. Creepy as fuck. Oh god, not this shit again. This is why you don't take acid before you go to bed. Oh no, it's gonna be the nutcracker thing, isn't it? See, I thought it, like, exactly what I thought. He put her in a, well, him or her, whatever the fuck, doesn't make a difference. Put it, I'm gonna call it from now on. Put her into a orphanage and things like that to learn that it's not so simple. And look what she fucking does. Why do you even care, Mr. X? Why do you even care? It's like 10 years for you, but probably 10 seconds for him. Wait, so this being tried to give the stick, it didn't work, so now you're giving a carrot. So instead of disincentivizing negative behavior, you're trying to bribe an asshole. I mean, you must be a really bad parent. What's that card under the Nutcracker? Nani? What, are the Templar Knights gonna come or something? Oh no. Oh no! Oh yeah! It's gonna work, isn't it? It's gonna mysteriously work, isn't it? Oh! You want to talk about divine intervention? The ancient Greeks actually built a steam engine. You know, in the days of like ancient Troy and Sparta and things like that, they actually built a fucking steam engine. Something that we only built in the 1900s. Imagine if the Industrial Revolution happened thousands of years before it did. They literally built a design and for some reason they just stopped. They like had the design and they're like, oh, that's really cool. We'll never look at this again. What the fuck? And they also built a really, really complex computer. It was this dial that was being transported and sunk in the ship. And they basically used it to calculate the dates. You want divine intervention? There's some fucking creepy shit out there, man. What made you think this entire thing wasn't a setup? How arrogant are you to think that this entire thing wasn't a setup? Ha! That's not faith. That's slavery, technically. That's indoctrination. That's not willful service. That's forced. This is definitely not how God operates. Or at the very least, how theoretically God would operate. This is how a slaver operates, technically. That's only cheating if you want to be alive. See, so for you, self preservation is more important than your will. So you're willing to compromise what you do and who you are in exchange for self preservation. You've literally learnt nothing about this whole exercise. You cling to the physical. You are literally a parasite. You disgust me. You You've just lost all my respect. You would rather live on your knees than live on your feet. I mean, die on your feet. Boo! 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 You're a whore! You have an unbelievable advantage. What are you complaining about? What's the problem? I mean, you got to think of it from their point of view. What? You're not going to use a valuable weapon that gives you a tactical advantage over the enemy when you're being attacked on all fronts because one of your officers says that the person wielding it is unusual. So? So fucking what? Like, you know what I mean? And you just fucked me up. Now I want warm apple pie. You just fucked me. Jesus Christ, did you see that jiggle? Half the budget went into those titties physics. This reminded me when I applied for the military in Australia and I wanted to apply as a rifleman and then specialize in being a scout and then further specialize in being a sniper. And then they basically put me through all the examinations. And they basically said, oh, yeah, we took all the examinations, and the two spots we have available for you are either the commandos, which you can do as Bravo, which is like part time, or you can fast track to an officer. And I'm like, no, I'd like to apply for rifleman. And they're like, the only spots we currently have available are these two. And I'm like, no, I've spoken to people in your military and in your training camps, and I know for a fact that you're currently short on riflemen, which is what I am applying for. I'm more than aced your exams, and you know I'm more than qualified. And they're like, well, if you want a career in the military armed forces, or not military armed forces, but in the armed forces, get back to us when you're more serious about it, and we'll tell you what positions are available to you. And I'm like, I'm not babysitting your kids. I mean, honestly, we had one of our soldiers in Afghanistan literally blow himself up because he pulled the pin on his grenade and he got, adrenaline and he dropped it. I'm not babysitting that shit. What? What a bitch! Whore! Remember, Kuma, she's a sociopath. I'd be willing to bet that she's a psychopath. 69 viewers, my favorite number. Jesus Christ, the Aussie birds are losing their shit. One thing you have to understand about psychopaths is their lifestyle is parasitic. That's why they want an easy life where they can literally suck blood from people. They hate having to do things themselves. They prefer using people and manipulating people. They consider people being easily manipulated as fools that should be manipulated. They're predatorial. Ah, you're about to get deployed. You're about to get redeployed. You're fucked. Ha! What, is this a new closing? Oh, a new closing? Ooh, is that an iron cross? Ooh, a Luger. Man, you're being played for like a frickin' violin. Jesus. Campus life, fuck off. Oh my god, this anime is just, it's just, oh god damn it.
Hey, did I hand you a shrinking potion by accident? I could have sworn that was the gender swapping one.
Don't be hating. She's fun size, that's all. She doesn't even have to get on her knees to blow.
You want to add anything to that conversation?
Nope, I'm good. In fact, I think your new size makes you an even more formidable and stealthy ninja.